Governments do not fear Bitcoin as much as you think they do. They can regulate the exchanges. They can monitor the addresses. They can build databases connecting your identity to every transaction you have ever made. Bitcoin may be decentralized, but its ledger is completely public. Monero is different. Monero hides the sender, the receiver, and the amount. It does not ask permission, and it does not publish your financial history for governments, corporations, or strangers to inspect. That is why Bitcoin gets headlines, institutional investment, and even government approval, while Monero gets removed from exchanges. This is not because Monero is simply another cryptocurrency. It is because Monero attacks something much more important than the banking system. It attacks the ability to watch. And in a world where surveillance has become a business model, private money is not merely inconvenient, it is dangerous. Today, I am going to explain why Monero terrifies governments more than Bitcoin, how its privacy actually works, and why financial privacy matters even if you have absolutely nothing to hide. Most people imagine Bitcoin as anonymous internet money. It is not. Bitcoin is pseudonymous. Your wallet does not show your legal name, but every transaction is recorded permanently on a public blockchain. Imagine having a bank account made entirely of glass. Anyone can look through it. They can see how much money enters, where it goes, and how much remains. The only protection you have is that the account displays a random number instead of your name. But the moment that number is connected to your identity, the illusion disappears. Maybe you buy Bitcoin on a regulated exchange using your passport. Maybe you send it to a merchant who knows your shipping address. Maybe you publish a donation address online. One connection can expose an entire network of transactions, and blockchain data does not expire. A transaction you make today can be analyzed 5 or 10 years from now using tools that do not exist yet. The blockchain remembers everything, forever. This creates a strange contradiction. Bitcoin gives you direct ownership of an asset, but it does not automatically give you financial privacy. Self-custody can remove the bank from the middle. It cannot erase the public trail. Yes, people use new addresses. Some use CoinJoin and other privacy techniques. These tools can help, but they require knowledge, discipline, and careful behavior. One mistake may reconnect the pieces. And even when a privacy tool works, the act of using it can make your transactions look unusual to an exchange or an analytics company. You tried to become less visible, so the system labels you as more suspicious. That should tell you something. A massive industry has developed around tracing public blockchains. Companies such as Chainalysis, Elliptic, and TRM Labs analyze transaction patterns and sell intelligence to exchanges, financial institutions, and government agencies. They group addresses together. They follow the movement of funds. They assign risk scores. They attempt to identify which coins touched a hacked exchange, a sanctioned service, a darknet market, or simply a wallet they consider suspicious. You do not need to commit a crime to be affected by this system. Imagine receiving Bitcoin as payment. 3 owners ago, those coins passed through a service that an exchange later blacklisted. You did not know. You had no control over it. But when you deposit the coins, the exchange freezes your account and asks you to prove where the money came from. The coins still follow the same protocol. The network still accepts them, but an institution treats them as contaminated. That is the problem of fungibility. Good money should be interchangeable. One unit should have the same value and usability as another unit. A $10 bill does not normally arrive with a public record of every person who previously touched it. Bitcoin does. If its history affects whether someone will accept it, then one Bitcoin may not always function exactly like another Bitcoin in the real world. Governments understand this transparency. In many cases, they benefit from it. A public ledger can become the most detailed financial surveillance system ever created, especially when exchange records, IP addresses, mobile data, and artificial intelligence are added to it. Bitcoin did not create that surveillance industry intentionally, but its transparent design gives the industry something extremely valuable: permanent data. Monero tries to remove that data before it can be collected. Monero is private by default. That phrase matters. Privacy is not an optional button reserved for advanced users. Every normal transaction uses privacy protections, helping private activity blend into the larger network. Monero mainly protects 3 pieces of information: who sent the money, who received it, and how much was transferred. First, Ring signatures help obscure the real source of a transaction. The actual input is placed inside a group containing decoy inputs from the blockchain. An outside observer can see that one member of the group authorized the transaction, but cannot easily determine which one. Second, stealth addresses protect the receiver. A sender generates a unique one-time destination for each payment. The address published by the receiver does not appear directly on the blockchain as a reusable public identity. Third, Ring confidential transactions hide the amount being transferred while still allowing the network to verify that no new coins were secretly created. The mathematics proves that the transaction follows the rules without publicly exposing the value. Monero also uses additional network-level privacy protections and continuously evolves as researchers identify weaknesses. It is not magic, and no privacy technology should be treated as perfect. Malware, compromised devices, poor operational security, and exchange records can still expose a person. But the design philosophy is fundamentally different. Bitcoin says everyone can inspect the ledger, and users can add privacy techniques if they need them. Monero says observers should not receive sensitive financial information in the first place. Bitcoin is like cash inside a glass room. Monero is cash in a dark room. The transfer can still be verified. The rules still apply. But strangers do not get to stand outside the window and watch. Governments do not only want to know whether money moved, they want to know who moved it, where it went, how much was transferred, and whether they can stop it. That visibility supports taxation, sanctions, capital controls, asset freezes, and financial investigations. Some of those powers are used against serious crimes, but the same infrastructure can also be used against journalists, activists, political opponents, protesters, minority groups, or ordinary citizens living under authoritarian systems. Surveillance tools do not remain in the hands of perfect governments forever. Monero reduces the quality of the data available to those tools. It removes the simple public audit trail. That is why regulators pressure exchanges to apply strict controls, and why some exchanges decide that supporting Monero creates more compliance risk than it is worth. Delistings are often presented as proof that Monero failed. I see the opposite. If a privacy coin behaved exactly like a transparent asset, institutions would have no special reason to remove it. Resistance is evidence that the privacy actually changes the balance of power. This does not make every use of Monero ethical or legal. Private technology can be abused, just like cash, encryption, cars, or the internet. But banning privacy because criminals may use it is like banning closed curtains because a criminal may close them. Privacy is not the same as secrecy. Secrecy hides wrongdoing. Privacy creates a boundary between your life and people who have no legitimate reason to enter it. You should not need to publish your salary, savings, medical payments, donations, subscriptions, and daily purchases to prove that you are innocent. Financial privacy is not a privilege for criminals. It is a form of personal autonomy. And privacy is not one dramatic decision. It is a collection of small routines. My morning does not need to begin with 10 apps asking where I am. I can make coffee with a French press that has no Wi-Fi connection. I can leave my phone in a drawer while I read a physical manga volume. I can watch anime from a local media server instead of allowing another platform to record every pause, search, and late-night rewatch. I can play Minecraft over a local network with friends. No algorithm needs to convert the moment into an advertising profile. None of these choices will make me invisible. That is not the goal. The goal is to stop giving away information when giving it away provides no real benefit. Financial privacy follows the same principle. Use cash when it makes sense. Learn self-custody before moving serious funds. Understand the risks of exchanges. Protect your seed phrase offline. Keep devices updated. Never assume that a cryptocurrency can save you from bad security habits. And if you explore Monero, learn before you act. Privacy tools require responsibility. Laws and tax obligations still apply where you live, even when a blockchain does not expose you or transactions publicly. Real independence is not paranoia. It is competence. Bitcoin proved that digital money can exist without a central bank controlling its supply. That achievement changed the world, but decentralization without privacy leaves a door open. The bank may disappear from the transaction, while surveillance remains, distributed across exchanges, analytics companies, data brokers, and government databases. Monero closes more of that door. It does not promise perfection. It does not make you untouchable. What it offers is more radical. Ordinary digital transactions that do not automatically become permanent public records. That is why governments can tolerate Bitcoin more easily. Bitcoin can be tracked, taxed, regulated at the edges, and absorbed into the existing financial system. Monero is harder to absorb because its most important feature is the one the system cannot comfortably control: privacy by default. The real question is not whether you have some thing to hide. The real question is why a stranger, a corporation, or a future government should have the right to inspect your entire financial life.